Okay. So الأول خالص, what's a system of equations? System of equations يعني two lines, two equations, linear equations, for example, that are graphed on the same xy axis. They're graphed with each other. And this is a very good example of that. So you have here two systems of equations. Here's the first system, and this is the second system. Each system has two equations, and each equation here in this case is linear. ازاي عرفت انها linear? This one is linear because x is to the power of 1. So definitely this is a linear function. And the same thing here, x is to the power of 1. So definitely as well linear. Now, if you think about that, you'll find that there are three cases of this thing. So you can have the two lines graphed and they could not intersect each other at all, or they could be graphed and they intersect each other once, or they could be graphed and you'll discover in the same line after you start graphing them. So these are the three possible cases in any system of equations. If it has only one point of intersection, this means it has one solution and it can only have one solution. And this solution is the point of intersection itself. So the point of intersection is the solution of the system. Okay? Well, since it is a point, it means it has an x and y. It has two numbers to represent it. While if we're talking على الكيس اللي هنا دي, two parallel lines كده, this means they will never ever intersect. So this means they'll have no solution. So when a system of equations has no solution, what does that mean? It means these two lines are parallel to each other. And that also means these two lines have equal slopes. So here's the most important thing. If I say that a system of equations has no solution, that means that the slopes are equal. The slopes are equal. On the other hand, the third one, this has infinitely many solutions or infinite solutions because each point on the line is considered a solution. طب إمتى بيكون infinite many solutions? What does that mean? It means they have the same slope and the same y-intercept. Here they have equal slopes but not equal y-intercepts. So again, the three cases are the following. If they have different slopes, it means they have a solution. If they have the same slope and the same y-intercept, then they have infinite solutions. If they have the same slope but different y-intercepts, it means they have no solution, and this is the most important type for today. Type, if we have a system like this one already written for us, how do we solve it and actually find the solution, find the point of intersection? That's the second thing we're working on for today. Now, so we're talking now on how to find the solution. The first method is you can use your calculator for sure and just go for mode 5-1. And remember, all of these methods apply لما بيكون linear equations, يعني الاثنين lines. So you can go for mode 5-1. This will give you x and will give you y, and that's it. That's your answer. The second method is by elimination. And the third method is by substitution. So the mode 5(1) and the elimination, these two work only on linear equations. But the substitution works on quadratic and linear as well. So the system of equations if you solve using substitution, you can solve any system of equations, whether quadratic or linear or anything. But if these two are linear, then you can solve using calculator or you can solve using elimination. And we will work on this example to check how to solve using all of them. So if we took this one and you just went to the calculator right away and clicked on mode 5(1), you'll just have to insert the coefficients. You'll put the -4 and then 9 and then 9, and then you'll put 1, -3, and -6. Again, only the coefficients without the x's. So I'll write -4, 9, and 9, 1, -3, and -6. That would give you right away x equals to 9 and y equals to 5. So the point of intersection is 9 and 5. This is the solution. Done. That is if we're using the calculator. Now, a very important thing to highlight for you برضو إنه it needs to be organized. لازم الأكسس تبقى تحت بعض، الوايز تحت بعض، الإيكوالز تحت بعض، والنمبرز تحت بعض. So if it's not well organized, I have to change them. And you'll see an example now. Anyway, so this is the first method, اللي هي calculator. Now we'll try the second method, which is the elimination method. Now, in order again to solve the elimination method, we have to have the same order. So they're already written in the correct order: x and then y and then equal and then number, x and then y and then equal and then another number. Now, the first step in elimination is to make sure that the coefficients are the same. يا إما الx's يبقوا عندهم نفس الكوفيشنت، يا إما الy's يكون عندهم نفس الكوفيشنت، ده أو ده, whatever you prefer. So if we'd like to make them have the same denominators, I would suggest that we multiply the second one by 3. Why did I pick 3? Because if we multiplied -3 by 3, it will become 9. So they will have the same coefficient. الوايات هيبقى عندهم نفس الكوفيشنت. So now I'll write the new functions or the new equations, sorry, after the adjustments. It's now -4x plus 9y equals 9. But then this one will be 3x minus 9y, and then -6 times 3, which is -18. So that's step 1. Any issues there? Moving on to step 2. Step 2, we either add or subtract to eliminate. يعني ايه to eliminate؟ يعني لما هنشوف بقى اللي احنا خليناهم زي بعض، اللي هما those coefficients، البوزيتيف 9 ده والنيجاتيف 9 ده. If they have the same signs, we will add them. Sorry, we will subtract them. If they have the same signs, we will subtract them. If they have different signs, we will add them. So when you look at this case now, clearly this one is positive 9 while this one is negative 9. So therefore, we are going to add them. Add everything up with everything down. -4 plus 3, that's -x. 9 plus -9, they'll remove each other. 9 plus -18, that's -9. So now -x equals to -9. Step number 3. Solve for x. أو solve for the variable يعني خلي الx أو الy في ناحية لوحدها. Start solving. How do I solve from here؟ عشان أشيل النيجاتيف دي. I'll remove negatives from both sides, so then x is equals to 9. Step number 4, which is the last step, substitute. So أول ما بجيب الx أو بجيب الy بكام؟ بسubstitute الx دي again في الإيكويشنز اللي فوق. في أي واحدة من الإيكويشنز اللي فوق. For example, I can substitute it in this equation here. بدل x هحط 9 then I'll move the 9 to the other side, so negative 3y will be equals to negative 15, and then negative 3 تروح الناحية التانية بالdivision, so y will be equals to positive 5. Now I have x and y, so I have the solution as 9 and 5. And that's it. I solved it. I got the exact same answers as the calculator did. Any problems in the elimination method? Yes, yeah.
بس هو أنا سؤالي مش هنا، هو أنا سؤالي في الجراف.
اوكي بس ماشي، ماله الجراف؟ قولي لي.
هو دلوقتي احنا لما نجيب only one point احنا كده مش هنعرف نجراف.
لا احنا البوينت اللي احنا جبناها من هنا دي اللي هي 9 و5 دي، يا اما بنجيب ده السولوشن، ده الحل. سو يا اما بنجيب الحل ده بان احنا نعمل elimination، يا اما substitution، يا اما الكالكوليتر، يا اما الجراف. فاحنا مش عشان نرسم بنطلع البوينت اوف انترسكشن، لا، الرسم دي طريقه من الطرق عشان نحل، ممكن نرسمهم ونطلع البوينت اوف انترسكشن. فاهمه حاجه؟ سو احنا بنرسمهم ازاي؟ زي ما بنرسمهم اللي هم بنطلع السلوب والانترسبت، فاكره؟ يعني نطلع السلوب بكام والانترسبت بكام بتاع كل لاين، وارسم each line separately، وبعد ما ارسمهم اشوف البوينت اوف انترسكشن كام. بس في الاي اس تي او في الاس اي تي او في الستاندردايز تيستس we don't graph خالص، يعني we don't have enough time to graph. so لو هو مديني الجراف قدامي I know ان the point of intersection is the solution. This point here is the solution. I know كمان انه لو رسم two lines parallel ان they have no solution. واي نو انه لو ما ادانيش اي جراف وادهاني كده as a system مكتوب I can solve and find the point of intersection اللي هي 9 و 5. فاهمه؟
اوكي.
شو؟
thank you.
ممكن. طيب so we did this as the elimination method. Now what about the substitution method, which is a very important one as well, important method جدا, because as I said it works on not just the linear, it works on linear and quadratic, so that's a good thing, that's something we like. So we're talking now about the substitution method. Now in the substitution method, we need to have either the x or the y completely alone on one side of the equation. يعني step number one, we need to solve for y, or solve for x, or solve for any variable. So solve for a variable. يعني أخلي يا إما ال x equals everything يا إما ال y equals everything in any of the two equations. For example, in this case, I would take this equation here because هنا ال x already doesn't have a coefficient. I can take this one and I can move the negative 3y to the other side so that x will be completely alone. Now x is equal to negative 6 plus 3y. I have the x completely alone now. That's step number one done. Step two, you substitute. يعني this x that we got here been substituted في الإيكويشن التانية. So step two is to actually substitute, which means you go to the other equation, remove the x, and instead substitute negative 6 plus 3y, close the bracket, and continue writing the whole equation as it is. So again, what happened is the following. أول ما خلينا x في ناحية لوحدها equals to everything, we then removed this x from the other equation and we inserted everything. So we kind of put both equations into one. Now, step number three is to solve and find the variable. Whatever you have, either the y or the x, start finding the value of this. So here I'll start by distributing. Negative 4 times negative 6, that's positive 24. Negative 4 times 3, that's negative 12y, plus 9y equals 9. 24 goes to the other side, and negative 12y with 9y will be added. It will become negative 3y equals 9 minus 24, which means that negative 3y will be equals to negative 15, which means that y is equals to positive 5. I got the value of y. Step 4 is still the same. Substitute again. Once you have the x or the y, substitute in any equation. So you can take this one here instead of the y, substitute 5. You'll have x minus 3, and then 5 equals to negative 6. You'll start solving. This will become negative 15 equals to negative 6. Negative 15 will move to the other side. X will be equals to positive 9. So I have the 9 and I have the 5, and that's it. It's done. We now learned elimination and substitution. Does this make sense or not?
Yes, yes.
Okay. طيب. Now, what if we have a system بقى of linear and quadratic equations زي those? These are the three possible cases اللي ممكن يطلع لي فيهم a system of linear and quadratic. You see, this one here عشان فيها x power 2, this one is quadratic. But the other one here عشان x power 1, this one is linear. So if you حتى look at the graphs, the graph أهو is red and the other one is blue. When they intersect here, they intersect twice at 2 points. Here's the first one and here's the second one. So in this case, how many solutions are there? There are 2 solutions. So there's a case where they could intersect twice. There's another case where they could intersect just once, like this one here. This one here, the line and the parabola intersected only once. So the number of solutions here is 1 solution. And there's a case where they would not intersect at all. So the number of solutions here is no solution, or 0 solutions. No solution. So these are the 3 possible cases. How do we actually برضو solve a system of equations and linear equations and quadratic equations at the same time? Here's how. So this is a good exercise. You have here x plus 2 all to the power of 2 minus 6 and y equals 4x minus 2, and we'd like to solve this. Instead of graphing, we'll use the substitution method that we already explained here. And in the first step in the substitution method, المفروض ان احنا نخلي y او x في ناحية لوحدها. And if you look here, already y لوحدها equals to everything. So all what we need to do is to start substituting. يعني هشيل y اللي في الإيكويشن التانية وأحط مكانها 4x minus 2. So I'll start writing it here. معلش ادوني ثانية أنا آسف. So here we are. What you're going to do is you're going to remove this y and put 4x minus 2 equals to the other equation, which is x plus 2 all to the power of 2 minus 6. And now what you're going to do next is to solve, find the values of x. Now when you try to solve this, watch closely please. I will have to expand this bracket first. So the 4x minus 2 will remain. But this bracket لما بنيجي expand بعمل الأولاني power 2 بعدين leave some space بعدين التاني power 2 بعدين في النص this times 2 which is 4x and then minus 6. Now عندي x power 2 لما بيكون عندي x power 2 I move everything to one side and make it equals to 0. So I'll move this to the other side and I'll move this to the other side. I'll have now x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 6 minus 4x and then plus 2 and all equals to 0. So I moved everything to one side equals to 0. Like terms together, x squared and then positive 4x and negative 4x will remove each other. 4 minus 6 plus 2 will become a 0. So x squared equals to 0. So this means that x is equals to square root 0, يعني x equals to 0. Once you have the value of x, substitute this x in any equation whatsoever. So let's do that. Put the x with 0 in any of those equations. So I'll put it y equals 4, substitute 0 minus 2, y is equals to negative 2. I got here 1.1 answer, 0 and negative 2. This is one solution only in this case. Anyone does not get what just happened here? This is a very important one. هو ده اللي احنا هنحل عليه كتير النهارده. Any issues here? Perfect. طيب. Check this one. This one here. Now I'll do the same exact steps. Already y في الناحية لوحدها equals everything. وبرضه هنا y equals everything. So what I'm going to do is to substitute right away. I'll move this y and I'll substitute negative 2x plus 2. ادي negative 2x plus 2 equals to negative x power 2 plus 2x plus 7. Now I need everything to be on one side equals to 0. So همove كل دول الناحية التانية and make it equals to 0. I'll have here positive x squared and then minus 2x اللي موجودة هنا and then this one راحت to the other side so negative 2x as well and then the 2 and then negative 7 equals to 0. Like terms together. So x squared and then negative 2 and negative 2, that's negative 4x. 2 minus 7, that's negative 5 equals to 0. Now I have a quadratic equation. So I have to solve this using the calculator. And I'll go for mode 5-3. Mode 5-3 will give me both x values. X will be equals to positive 5 and negative 1. So 2x values here. أعمل إيه لما يطلع لي 2x values؟ أسبستيتيوت بالاتنين في أي equation برضو. So الأول مثلا هسبستيتيوت ال 5 هنا. So y will be equals to negative 2 times 5 plus 2. That means in y is equals to negative 10 plus 2, which means y is equals to negative 8. So the first solution is 5 and negative 8. The first point is 5 and negative 8. But there's another point, اللي هي this one. So I'll substitute here برضو with 1. So negative 2 times negative 1 plus 2. That would get me y equals 2 plus 2, which means y is equals to 4. And that's another point. So the second point is negative 1 and 4. Now I have two solutions for this system. So as I said earlier, ساعات هيكون عندي one solution زي دي. ساعات هيكون عندي two solutions زي دي. We now did الأول example على one solution only, which is this one. طلع لي 1x and 1y. وعملنا بعد كده example تاني على two solutions لما بيطلع لي 2x's and 2y's. This is very important again. طيب. Finally اللي في النص. برضو نفس الكلام. ال y equals to negative 5. So I'll substitute. هحط negative 5 equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. move everything to one side and make it equals to 0. Now I have x squared minus 2x plus 2 equals to 0. Now if you try to solve this one on a calculator with mode 5-3, it would give you x's that has i's in them. So in that case, we have no solution. Does this make sense?
لسه لو أنا اتلخبطت شوية.
Ask يلا يا حبيبتي قولي لي.
وأنا I got البوينت بتاعت إن إحنا مثلا substitute ال -5 في ال y لما كانوا two numbers اتلخبطت.
ما هو
مش عارفة.
ادي النمبر الاولاني الاكس الاولانيه عملنا لها substitution صح؟
لا أنا مش فاهمة خالص.
لا ما انت فاهمه اللي على الشمال لما طلعت الاكس ب0 عملنا substitution دي صح ولا لا؟
مش عارفة.
برضه ولا لا؟ الشمال لا؟ اللي فاهمه مثلا في النص؟ طيب لا ما هو نفس البروسيس. يعني انا هنا شلت برضه نفس الحوار بالظبط. الواي ايكوالز 4x minus 2 فشلت الواي دي حطيت مكانها اهو 4x minus 2. شايفاها كده؟
ايوه الحتة دي انا فاهماها بس لما two numbers بالمالتيبلاي اتلخبطت.
فين التو نمبرز بالمالتيبلاي بالراحه كده.
ما هو 4x minus 2 multiplied by اللي جوه البراكت.
لا هي الناحيه الثانيه من الايكوال فوديناهم اصلا الناحيه الثانيه بالعجله. هو مش تايمز البراكت ده بس عشان نفكه فكناه بده. لا ركزي يا كارلا بليز عشان ده كانت طويله قوي على انها يبقى فيها لخبطه كده من الاول. طب this is the same exact example. لا فاهم.
بس طب خلاص كمل وانا ممكن ابقى افهمها.
لا دي
حضرتك بتشتغل.
ما هم اصل بعد كده خلاص احنا هنحل دلوقتي.
هحاول احل.
لا بس اديني ثانيه واحده. So you see مثلا ده اهو system of equations هو واحد كوادراتيك واحد لينير. قلنا خلاص اول حاجه نعملها نشيل الواي دي ونحط مكانها نيجاتيف اكس بلس 1 صح؟ اوكي كل ده ايكوالز ده نيجاتيف وافتح براكت اكس ماينس 2 all to the power of 2 plus 5. ناو ده هيفضل زي ما هو دلوقتي بس ازاي افك ده بقى يا كارلا؟
اعتقد بنعمل ده تايمز ده تايمز
اللي فوق ده. ما هو ده اول حاجه بنعمل الاولاني باور 2 وبعدين نعمل التاني باور 2 برضو.
وبعد كده ده تايمز ده تايمز ده
اللي هو يطلع نيجاتيف 4 اكس في النص. ايوه صح كده. تمام. بعد كده النيجاتيف دي دخلت على كل البراكت فبقى عندي نيجاتيف اكس بلس 1 ايكوالز نيجاتيف اكس سكويرد بلس 4 اكس ماينس 4 بلس 5. is this okay؟
اوكي.
طيب لو جمعي برضو الحاجات اللي زي بعض. سو عندي مثلا هنا نيجاتيف 4 بلس 5 يعني 1. is okay؟
اوكي.
طيب هجمع كل حاجه في ناحيه واحده equals to 0 عشان دي فيها x باور 2 فاي حاجه فيها x باور 2 خلي كل حاجه في ناحيه واحده equal 0. is this okay؟
اي حاجه فيها باور 2
اي حاجه فيها x باور 2 عشان هي فيها x باور 2 بخلي كل حاجه في ناحيه واحده equals to 0 عشان فيها x باور 2.
ماشي اوكي.
سو هودي دي الناحيه هودي كل حاجه في الناحيه الثانيه على طول عشان النيجاتيف x باور 2 تبقى بوزيتيف فاوديها الناحيه الثانيه اهي. ودول اللي هيفضلوا زي ما هم موجودين هم مكانهم وراح بقى كمان معاهم النيجاتيف البوزيتيف 4 اكس وال1. does this make sense؟
ماشي.
لا مش ماشي دلوقتي يا كارل احنا بنعيدها بقى ما تعديش حاجه اهو. ها ايه اللي حصل لحد فين فهمتي؟
بننزل الاكسبورت من الناحيه الثانيه.
مش احنا اتفقنا ان كل حاجه هنوديها في ناحيه واحده من الايكوال؟ طب هودي كل دول الناحيه الثانيه. بلاش ادي نيجاتيف اكس بلس 1 اهي وراحت معاها بلس x power 2 minus 4x minus 1 equals 0. Is this okay?
ماشي.
جمعي بقى الحاجات اللي زي بعض مع بعض. negative x and negative 4x. so negative 5x. عندي 1 وماينس 1 هيشيلوا بعض، والاكس باور 2 تنزل زي ما هي. كل ده اوكي؟
ماشي.
ده ودي خديه بقى على الكالكوليتر مود 5 3. هيطلع لي اكس ب0 واكس ب5. يطلع لي 2 اكسز. اعمل ايه بقى بال2 اكسز دول بعد كده؟ substitute. شايفه الاكس اللي هنا دي؟ كارلا متاكده ان انت فاهمه الاكسس جت منين ولا لا؟ كارلا.
ايوه.
كارلا.
يس.
متاكده؟
ايوه.
طيب جبت الاكسس. substitute over there. now هتبقى y equals negative وافتح براكت 0 plus 1 تطلع ال y ب1. وبرضه substitute هناك negative bracket 5 plus 1 so y will be equals to negative 4. طلع لي 2y values. is this okay؟ هما دول الانسرز بقى. الاكس مع الواي يعني 0 و1 واكس مع واي 5 ونيجاتيف 4. دول الانسرز. تمام؟ شور؟
ايوه.
طيب perfect خلاص. Now خليني remind everyone. You're most welcome. خليني remind everyone when a system has no solutions what does that mean? It means they have equal slopes. أول ما يقول لي no solution it means they have equal slopes. For example if I said إن مثلا يعني ax plus by equals 8 and then dx plus cy equals 10. لو قلت لك ان دول الاثنين have no solution this means ان السلوب اللي فوق اللي هو نيجاتيف الرقم اللي جنب الاكس over الرقم اللي جنب الواي ده السلوب equals السلوب of the other one which is negative the number next to the x over the number next to the y. So remember that in order to get the slopes لو عندي الفورم اللي هي ax plus by equals c السلوب negative a over b والy intercept c over b. بس لو عندي الفورم اللي هي y equals mx plus b m is the slope right away وال b is the y intercept. So this is very important طبعا because whenever we say again a system has no solutions it means we know that the slopes are equal. So we need to be able to find the slope whenever needed. Any issues there? طيب let's head please to Google Classroom and let's start right away with the first form there, the system of linear equations. This will have a total of 6 questions actually. All of them are systems as you can tell اهو. بيقول لي ان هما they have no solution مثلا. Again هنا has بقى this one has infinitely many solutions. What does that mean? هنا this one means برضو they have no solution. No solution. This one is a system of equations that needs to be solved, so it has a solution, and this one also has a solution. Let's try them out. All 6 questions will give you 9 minutes. Nine minutes starting right now. You're told here for which of the following values of k will the system have no solution. So they want the system to have no solution. هي دي الحاجة اللي ببتدي منها. What do I know about systems with no solutions? أول ما أشوف كلمة no solution بفكر في parallel lines يعني بفكر في equal slopes على طول. فما دام هما equal slopes فأنا هعمل الكلام ده يعني هجيب السلوب بتاع الأولاني اللي هو نيجاتيف الرقم اللي جنب الإكس over الرقم اللي جنب الواي وهجيب السلوب بتاع التاني اللي هو نيجاتيف الرقم اللي جنب الإكس over الرقم اللي جنب الواي وI'll make them equal to each other. يعني هعمل negative 2 over negative 5 equals to negative 4 over k. لو عايز أطلع الk بكام بعمل cross multiplication. So k will be equals to negative 5 times negative 4 and then divided by negative 2. And this will give you k equals to negative 10. This is the answer, D. This is a very important question. So if you're confused of anything, please let me know now. ماشي. تعالوا نتشيك number 2. في number 2 in the system of equations above, A and B are constants. وقال لي إن this system has infinitely many solutions أو infinitely many solutions. برضو I'll start from this word because that's something I know something about. Infinitely many solutions, it means they have the same slope and the same y-intercept. So هعمل نفس الحاجة، هجيب السلوب من الأولاني والواي انترسبت من الأولاني والسلوب والواي انترسبت من التاني وأعملهم equal. So I'll start with the slope. السلوب هنا نيجاتيف الرقم اللي جنب الإكس over الرقم اللي جنب الواي. السلوب هنا نيجاتيف الرقم اللي جنب الإكس over الرقم اللي جنب الواي. So negative 5 over negative 2 should be equals to negative A over B. طيب this is the first part. The second part هو الواي انترسبت. الواي انترسبت فوق المفروض يكون الرقم اللي بره over الرقم اللي جنب الواي، يعني 3 over negative 2. طيب التاني المفروض يكون 6 over B، الرقم اللي بره over الرقم اللي
في
جنب
حد
الواي.
بعت لحضرتك.
Why negative A? The slope is always negative the number next to the x over the number next to the y. It's the what's it called? Let me show you an example. So let's say you have 5x ahead minus 2y equals to 3. If I need to actually find the slope using the slope intercept form, I should move this 5 to the other side. So it will change its sign. It will become negative 5x plus 3. And then move the negative 2 to the other side by division. So then negative 5x plus 3 divided by negative 2. If you notice, then the slope is now negative the number 5 over negative 2, which we got a quick كده shortcut ليها, and we said negative الرقم اللي جنب الx over الرقم اللي جنب الy would get me the slope right away. طيب, so what I did here is I made the slopes equal اهم, and I made the y-intercepts as well equal اهم. همسك الأول اللي فيها only one variable اللي فيها b بس. While solve this one to find the value of b. So هعمل b equals to negative 2 times 6 and then divided by 3, which means b will be equals to negative 4. أنا كده جبت ال b. Substitute هنا ال b بنيجاتيف 4. So بقى عندي النيجاتيف دي هتشيل النيجاتيف دي كده كده, فبقى عندي 5 over 2 equals to negative a over negative 4. If I need to find that a, هعمل cross multiplication. So negative a is equals to 5 times negative 4 divided by 2, which means in the negative a is equals to negative 10, which means positive a equals to positive 10. I now have the a and the b. He needs me to find a plus b, which means it's 10 plus negative 4, which means the answer here is 6. So the answer is A. Again, a very important question. Any questions there?
لا كويس.
Okay.
Mister, there is another question.
Thank you. Where did the 6 come from? The 6 came from the y-intercept of the other one. So you see the y-intercept of this equation is c over b, which is this number here over this number there. And that's how I got this y-intercept. So I said, oh, you're talking about the final answer, Vera. You're talking about this 6 or you're talking about the final answer? No, that one, okay. So again, the y-intercept, just like what we did here, 3 over negative 2, that was the y-intercept. Same thing happened here. 6 over b, and I made them equal to each other. These are the y-intercepts. And then I cross-multiplied and I got the value of b. Does this make sense, or I did not answer the question كده? So I turn this to a normal equation and then find the stuff. Yeah, exactly. You turn, like, okay, you take the idea, just the main idea that because they have infinitely many solutions, that the y-intercepts are equal. And using the fact that the y-intercepts are equal, you're getting the b value. And then once you have the b value, you're substituting to get the value of a. So yeah, it's many equations and you substitute. Perfect. Number 3. Again, it says here, the system of equations have no solution, and that's where we're going to start. ما دام قال لي no solution معناها إن the slopes, only the slopes are equal. يبقى أنا هجيب ال slope of the first one. What's the slope of this? It's negative the number next to the x over the number next to the y, and I'll make it equal to the slope of the other one, which is negative the number next to the x over the number next to the y. طيب, here's the question now. What can I do from here? I'll cross multiply. Okay, so I'll say I'll cross multiply by multiplying these two. I'll say negative a times b, which is negative ab, equals to negative 3 times negative 4, which is positive 12. That means that positive ab is equals to negative 12. So I need now two numbers, a and b, multiplied by each other that must be equals to negative 12. If you check the first choice, negative 1 times 2, because that should be a and that should be b, times each other would give me negative 2, so that's incorrect. This one times each other, it would give me 1. This one would give me 2, but this one, 3 times negative 4, that would give me negative 12. So D is the correct answer. Please ask.
بس لو أنا حلتها عشان ال 3 والنيجاتيف 4 بس.
عشان لقيتي 3 ونيجاتيف 4 اللي هما زي اللي فوق يعني؟
اللي هو الإكس والواي.
ماشي شغال يعني بالصدفة على فكرة. بس اوكي يعني.
بس هو كل مرة يعني بالصدفة؟
لا مش غلاسة. بصي يا حبيبتي ليه بالصدفة مش؟
أيوه أنا عارفة.
والله لا هي بالصدفة عشان بس حصلت كده والله مش غلاسة يعني لا.
ماشي عارفة مش حاجة.
طيب, let's move to number 4. Number 4, you're given again two equations and you're told that this has no solution. And we just learned that no solutions, same slope. So I'll get the slope of the first one, negative the number next to the x over the number next to the y. And I'll get the slope of the other one. Now what's the slope of this one? Negative the number next to the x, which is this whole thing, over the number next to the y, which is this whole thing. So negative a minus 1 over a minus 1. Now, anything divided by itself will cross each other, it would be 1. So the slope here is negative 1 of this equation here, which means because they have no solution, they have the same slope. This here, or these two, are equal to each other. So I can say that negative a over 3 is equals to negative 1. Which means that negative a is equals to negative 3. So positive a is equals to positive 3. And the answer is C. Does that make sense? This is a very important one.
Yes, Mr. Hall, please.
Okay, let's check 5. It says here the cost of long-distance telephone call is determined by a basic fixed charge for the first 5 minutes and a fixed charge for each additional minute. If a 15-minute call costs 3.5 and a 20-minute call costs 4.75, what is the total cost in dollars of a 40-minute call? Ooh. So this is actually linear, but yet it's not really a system of equations. Now, you have to create the equations. If I'd like to calculate you don't have to even create the equation, you can use those as points. If the 15-minute call costs 3.5, that's a point, 15 on the x and 3.5 on the y. And if a 20-minute call costs whatsoever, what is it? 4.75, that's considered another x and y. I can use these 2 points to get the equation of like the linear equation, and then substitute the x with whatever value they're giving me here, which is the 40 minutes. So in order to do that, I'll do 4.75 minus 3.5 y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is 20 minus 15. That would get me 1.25 divided by 5, which means the answer would be 0.25. That's the slope. I can use this slope along with any of the given points to get the equation. So I can say the equation is y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to substitute the slope over here, and I'll say y is equals 0.25, and instead of the x, I'll substitute any of those x's. Let's say the 15. I leave the b as it is, and I'll substitute instead of the y, this y value, 3.5. So now I have a kind of an equation that I can solve and find the value of b with. Let me calculate this. So 0.25 multiplied by 15, that would be 3.75 plus b equals to 3.5. I'll move this to the other side. So I'll have b equals to negative 0.25. Now I have the y-intercept and I have the slope. I can write the equation as y equals 0.25x minus 0.25. If he needs me to calculate a 40-minute call, I'll substitute here x with 40. So 0.25 multiplied by 40 and then minus 0.25. That would be 10 minus 0.25. So the answer is $9.75. C. That's a very long one. I know, but doable, I think. So ask, what do you have in mind? Yes.
مستر ممكن أسأل بقى وما تقوليش جت بالصدفة؟
ماشي.
ماشي. أنا عملت كل حاجة أنا وصلت لغاية 1.25. أوكي؟ لما عملت 4.75 minus 3.50 كده أنا طلعت التوتال بتاع ال 5 minute call. صح؟
ماشي.
ماشي. بس بعد كده لما عملتها times 8 طلعت لي 10.
ليه 8؟
عشان 40 divided by 5 equals 8.
بس ليه عملتي divide by 5
عشان هما 5 minutes. ال 1.25 ده لل 5 minutes مش لل 1 minute.
ماشي. فانت حسبتيهم ايوه بس هو قال بقى في حته في الاول فوق ان اول 5 دقايق ب8 وال5 دقايق التانيين ب8 تاني، او كل دقايق بعد كده ب8 تاني غير ال5 دقايق الاولانيين. انت كده افترضتي ان كل الدقايق بنفس الثمن، صح؟ فهي دي المشكله. انت جبتي 10 بعدين.
فكنت حاسة ان هي رحت
اقل.
عملتها دي بس كانت المفروض سي.
انت كبرتيها مش صغرتيها. ماشي. ما انا بقول لك هي مشكله الطريقه دي في ايه؟ ان كده ده انا assumed ان كل المينتس they have the same value. فانا قلت خلاص لو الخمس دقائق بكذا يبقى خلاص الفرق كل واحد. but that's not the case لانه هو في الاول قال لي لا، قال لي ده اول 5 دقائق بحاجه والباقي بحاجه تانية. عشان هو قال لي فكره ان في كوست ثابت في الاول لاول 5 دقائق والباقي has a specific rate تاني، ده اللي خلاني عرفت ان دي linear اصلا، ان معناها ان it follows الفكره بتاعت y equals mx plus b. ان البي ده الكوست بتاع اول 5 دقائق، والام ده الكوست بتاع كل دقيقه بعد كده، بعد ال5 دقائق. فاهمه؟ فعشان كده انا حاولت اعمل ايه، اجيب الام ازاي، اللي هو السلوب، قمت عامل بقى من دول y2 minus y1، جبت 0.25. عارفه 0.25 دي ايه؟ ده الكوست بتاع كل دقيقه بعد اول 5 دقائق. بعد كده لما انا جبت البي مش عارف 0.25 ده، يبقى اول 5 دقائق على بعض بيتحسبوا بطريقه تانيه. فاهمه حاجه؟
تقريبا.
يعني بس very good thought anyway. فكره ان جبتي الفرق وقلتي خلال 5 دقائق this is a very smart thought as well. So that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you يا عمر. Now number 6 قال لي هنا the tickets for a movie costs 8 for adults and 5 for children. If the total of 200 tickets were sold and the total amount is this much, how many adult tickets were sold? That's a pure system of equations. You have adults and you have children. Apparently each adult costs 8 and each child costs 5. I have a total of 200 tickets, which means that the adults plus the children are a total of 200. Yet I need a total amount of money, 1,360. It means that 8 times the number of adults plus 5 times the number of children should get me a total of 1,360. I'll take this to a calculator right away with mode 5.1, get the A and get the C, which are the adults and the children. If I'm not allowed the calculator, I'll just have to solve this algebraically, and I would use elimination in this case. I'll multiply everything up here by 5. This will create 5A plus 5C equals to 1,000. I'll then subtract because those have the same sign. So I'll subtract 8 minus 5, that would be 3A, and then 5 minus 5 will cross each other, and then this minus that, that's 360. A will be equals to 120 when I move 3 to the other side by division. I got the number of adults right away, and that's what they're looking for, 120. I don't need to substitute the adults now because I just need the adults, I don't need the children. Does that make sense? Awesome. طيب.
بس هو ممكن حتة ال 5A وال 5C تاني؟
انا لما عملت باي elimination، اللي هو ازاي بقى elimination، ان انا اخلي فاكره الكوفيشنتس زي بعض، اخلي يا اما الاكسز يا اما الوايز الكوفيشنتس بتاعتهم زي بعض. فانا هعمل اللي فوق دي كلها تايمز 5 عشان تبقى زي اللي تحت، يبقوا الاثنين فيهم 5C. لما عملتها تايمز 5، 5 تايمز A بقت 5A، و5 تايمز C بقت 5C، and then 200 تايمز 5 دي ال 1000. بعد كده لما بصيت على اللي انا خليتهم زي بعض، هنا عندي بوزيتيف 5 وبوزيتيف 5 برضو. احنا قلنا لما بيكونوا نفس الساينز بنسبتراكت، لما بيكونوا مختلفين في الساينز بنأد. هنا عشان هما نفس الساينز هنسبتراكت، فهنعمل ال 8 ماينس ال 5 وده يديني 3A. هنعمل ال 5 ماينس ال 5 ودول هيشيلوا بعض. هنعمل بعد كده 1360 ماينس 1000، دول يطلعوا 360. بعد كده هودي ال 3 الناحية التانية بالديفيجن. So هيطلع لي A equals to 360 divided by 3 which means إن ال A تطلع ب 120. So 120 adult كانوا هناك. فاهمها شو؟
Thank you.
Most welcome. Now there are two questions about a system of equations where there's one linear and one quadratic. One of those is a hard question, شويتين. It's about this one, number 1, because it requires you to think out of the box. The other one is pretty simple and to the point, just like the ones we solved already. I'd like you to try please both, and I'll give you for both of them a total of 5 minutes, and I think you'll do those كويس يعني. Please, when we start already discussing the questions. طيب, alright, so this question, I'll keep it for the next one. I'll start with question number 2 actually, because it's to the point and it doesn't have that much of an issue. Here we have a system of equations. One of them is quadratic clearly, and the other one is linear, and they're asking me how many solutions does this have. So I'll just solve this one and I'll figure out how many solutions are there. He said that y is equals to 3x. I'll substitute. I'll say that 3x is now equals to x squared minus x minus 12. Since this is a quadratic equation, I'll move everything to one side and I'll make it equals to 0. Like terms together, so I'll have the negative x along with the negative 3x. That's negative 4x minus 12 equals to 0. Mode 5, 3 would get you the answers for this one, and you'll figure out whether they're one answer or more. Apparently they're 3 and 4, that's not the issue. 6 and 2, they're two answers. It's x equals 6 and x equals negative 2. So since two answers came out of this, two x values, that means right away they have two solutions, not just one or no solutions. And it can never be infinitely many, since one of them is quadratic and the other one is a line. It can't be infinitely many. Any issues there? I think most of you got this one right. I'm sorry. Yes?
بس أنا I got it right بس أنا عايزة أسأل هو أنا حليتها بطريقة تانية بس مش مهم الطريقة هو المهم بس لما بتبقى 2 points واحدة positive positive والتانية negative negative دي حاجة ولا دي
doesn't matter خالص. two answers doesn't matter الساينز بتاعتهم ايه خالص.
مش ده اللي هيحدد
لا خالص. لا طيب this one بقى. Now you have here a system of equations where one of them is a parabola clearly and the other one is a line, and they do intersect twice in these 2 points as we can see. You're given the equations for both, but you're asked to find the area of this quadrilateral. So this quadrilateral is this shape here. Let me remind you that this is an irregular shape, okay? So there are many ways to get the area of such a shape. And I'll graph it here, or I'll graph something similar here for you to kind of to see the possible methods to get the area of this. There is a way where we can split this into a rectangle and get the area of that rectangle by multiplying length times width, and then get the area of this triangle by multiplying half times base times height. Adding these two areas together would give me the area of the whole shape. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to work with this shape as what we call a trapezoid. What's that? Where is the trapezoid there? Now, in order to get the area of a trapezoid, we need to do base 1 plus base 2 over 2 multiplied by the height. And in this case, we can consider this base 1 and this one base 2 and this one as the height. So if you know the distance of this, and you know the distance of that, and you know the distance here, you can get the area of the shape. We'll see how this works now. I personally prefer the first method. So in order to split this shape into a rectangle, let me use another color so that it's clear this wasn't part of the question. If we split this into a rectangle and a triangle, let's look at this rectangle here. In order to get the area of this rectangle, first I need to know this distance. What's this distance here? And then I need to know this distance as well. I'll start with what I know. Since I have apparently clearly a system of equations, I'll solve it to try and find the values of these intersection points. أعرف ال x وال y بتوعهم بكام. So I'll solve this by substitution. Instead of this y, I'll substitute x plus 1. So x plus 1 is now equals to x squared minus 4x plus 5. I'll move everything to one side to make it equals to 0. So I now have x squared minus 4x plus 5 minus x minus 1 equals to 0. Like terms together, x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals to 0. This would give me x1 equals 1 and x2 equals 4. Now I have two x values. I will substitute those x values into this equation. So one time it will be 1 plus 1, and another time it will be 4 plus 1. Here this would give me y equals to 2, and here this would be y equals to 5. Now I have the solutions 1 and 2, and the other one is 4 and 5. I can clearly say that this point B is the coordinates 1 and 2, and this point C is the coordinates 4 and 5, has the coordinates 4 and 5. Which means that this height here, since this y is 2, this height here is 2. So I have the length now. Sorry, the width now. Now what about the length? If this point has x equals 1, and this point has x equals 4, so then I know that this x is 1 and this one is 4, so this distance is 3, which is 4 minus 1. The distance, الفرق اللي ما بين 1 و 4 is 3. So now I have this length and I have this width, which means that the area of this rectangle is 6, which is length times width, 2 times 3. This will give me 6, that's the rectangle. Now let's work on the triangle. In the triangle, I need the base, and I know the base, اللي هو ده, the 3. I need now to know the height, which is this length here. The y اللي هنا is 5, والy اللي هنا دي is 2. So this height here is from 2 to 5, that's 3. So the area of this triangle is half times base times height. Half times 3 times 3, which is 4.5. And that is the area of the triangle. Now I have the area of this rectangle and the triangle. So the area of the whole shape is 6 plus 4.5, which means that the area is 10.5. This is the total area of the shape. Please ask, because it's a very important question. And a nice one, to be honest. It includes geometry, it includes system of equations, it includes areas of shapes. Ask, please. Any issues there? Yes, يا حبيبي.
بس هو يعني أكيد مش فاهماها من أول مرة. كتير.
Okay.
بس فاهمة حتت كويسة.
Okay. ماشي. Awesome. طيب. Let me repeat it back again. Okay.
ماشي.
طيب. Emily, you're saying you're good, or you need me to repeat this? And better. I'm gonna repeat it anyway, but I wanna check like wait, okay, that's good. Ali, good برضو؟ نشوف. طيب ماشي. Let me quickly كده برضو again give the idea of everything that happened here. So what happened is we خلاص have the main plan. The plan is because we need to find the area of a shape, a quadrilateral, and it could be split into this, a rectangle or triangle. I'll get the area of the rectangle and I'll get the area of the triangle. Here this is the length and this is the width. Here this is the base and this is the height. So if I know these sides هبقى عرفت كل حاجة محتاجها. I'll work it out step by step with the things that I know. كل اللي أنا أعرفه ومتأكد منه إن I can find the points of intersection دول الاتنين easily. I'll do this by solving this system of equations. So بدل ال y هحط ال x plus 1 أهي و equals the x squared minus 4x plus 5. Now همove كل حاجة on one side, make it equals to 0. So minus x and minus 1 equals to 0, which means x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals to 0. Mod 5 3 I got x و I got x التانية. I got 1x ب1 و I got 1x ب5. هيوز الx's دول الاتنين اللي أنا جبتهم و substitute into the other equation اللي هنا عشان أجيب بيهم ال y values. I substituted أهو هنا 1 وهنا no not 5 أنا آسف it's 4. Now I have y equals 2 وال y التانية equals to 5. So I have now 2 points of intersection اللي هي 1 and 2 and 4 and 5 اللي هم محطوطين already عندي على الجراف. So I used those and I said ال x اللي هنا دي كده تبقى 1 وال y دي كده تبقى 2 والبوينت دي ال x بتاعتها هنا تبقى 4 وال y بتاعتها هنا هتبقى 5. I started using بقى البوينتس دي عشان أجيب المقاسات. Now لو ال y هنا ب 2 this means إن الطول ده هنا كده is 2 as well. ولو هنا 1 ودي 4 يبقى it means إن الطول ده كده من 1 لحد 4 is 3. So الطول هنا 3 والطول هنا 2. Which means إن أنا ينفع أقسم ده دلوقتي كده وأجيب له area الحتة دي لوحدها بإن أنا أعمل 2 times 3. This would give me the area of the rectangle اللي هو ب 6. هيبقى فاضل بقى التراينجل اللي فوق اللي هو this one. لما أبص على التراينجل ده أنا عايز الطول ده بكام؟ الحتة دي من أول 2 لحد 5 هي نفس الطول ده معناها إنها 3. والحتة اللي اللي بالبلو دي I already have it and I know إن اللينث بتاعها برضو ب 3 زي دي أهي دي ودي قد بعض. So then أنا ينفع أجيب الأريا بتاعت التراينجل اللي فوق بإن أنا أعمل half times base times height. ده اداني الأريا بتاعت التراينجل. دلوقتي عشان أجيب الأريا التوتال أريا بتاعت الشيب كله على بعضه بس هعمل لهم الاتنين بلس بعض. So 6 plus 4.5 وده اداني التوتال اريا is 10.5. Make sense؟
بس هي فين بس ال 4.5؟
ايه يا حبيبتي؟
فين ال 4.5؟
فين ايه؟ ايه هي يعني؟ اللي هي الاريا بتاعت التراينجل اللي بالاحمر اللي هي جت half times 3 times 3 جابت لي 4.5 اللي هو half times base times height لان ده تراينجل.
ايوه اوكي.
بس اللي تحت
دي رول احفظها.
ايوه واللي تحت بقى اللي هو الريكتانجل لينث تايمز ويدث. ما احنا كنا كاتبين هنا اهو ان الاريا بتاعت الريكتانجل لينث تايمز ويدث while الاريا بتاعت التراينجل بتكون half times base times height.
بس مش كان في length times width times height؟
length times width times height ده الفوليوم مش اريا. ده الفوليوم بتاع الريكتانجلر بلوك اللي هو كيوب كده او كيوبويد. ده الفوليوم بتاعه بيكون length times width times height، لأن الفوليوم بتاع أي حاجة هو الاريا اوف ذا بيس اللي هي length times width. ده الاريا اوف ذا بيس اللي هو rectangle times الهايت، عشان كده بنجيب الفوليوم. So length times width times height دي جت من الفكرة of the volume area of base times height. لما بصينا على البيس بقى لقينا rectangle، جبنا له الاريا ب length times width. فاللي احنا حافظينه ان الاريا بتاعت اي rectangle length times width. فاهمة؟
اه
بس.
اوكي ثانك يو.
Thank you.